Hello everyone, welcome back to another video with me. My name is Cotton Candy Doll. If you're new here, then welcome. Welcome all. Hi. This is a shifting video. I know I haven't talked to you guys since when did I say I was going to do a video? Like Monday or Tuesday, but the truth is I really wanted to learn a lot more. I want to try and learn some sign language before I went back to talk to Frodo because apparently I can talk to this guy. And I looked it up and it's actually not odd. Like people actually have like babies that they train to do like sign language. Personally, I never thought of it, and it's just not something I would ever think of doing because I kind of feel like it's weird. But people, I guess that's a way for them to like communicate with their baby. I guess I don't know, but based off what I was told about Frodo, it's basically that he knows more than the regular normal stuff that babies talk about in sign language. So if I can really find a way to talk to this guy, that would be really awesome. So I was a little excited. Um, my sign language is terrible, probably. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna do like any of the signs right, but I'm gonna try to show you guys some of the stuff I learned while I tell you guys what happened. Because I knew that I needed to have a conversation with Frodo for sure. I also knew that, Toshinori, and I knew that, Keigo was gonna try and get it back at me. And I knew Endeavor would be waiting to talk to me, and I knew for sure that I would have to talk to that doctor guy, but I didn't know where to shift to first. I did not have a chance to talk to the kids about what happened at my house. I'm pretty sure they found out when I left. But like I said, I hadn't been back there in weeks, so I had decided to go back there. And okay, so I am much happier. I am much happier now, and I'll tell you guys what happened. But first, you might hear some noises in the background. You might hear some insanely happy laughter, or some other weird noises if you must. Also, I had my TV on too, but I guess it went off. My TV is like a smart TV, so I guess it's supposed to be like shutting itself off once in a while if it's on too long. So I'll jump right into what happened. So I'm not gonna have this video be too long. All of this stuff I found out. Okay, so I decided to learn some sign. This is the language for sign, and I think this is how you say sign. Your fingers are kind of coming back at you or whatever. And I hope I'm sitting back far enough that you guys can actually see. I'm just gonna try to hold my hands up higher. Maybe that'll help. So normally, like deaf people are the ones who use sign language, but I guess people use like I don't know if it's like 5 or 10 basic words for their babies or whatever. But for me, I didn't want to learn that because I felt like uh, they said for sure that Frodo was more like advanced, I guess so. I shifted outside of Kegel's house because I knew Frodo would be there, and I didn't want to run into. I thought about shifting to the school first, but I didn't want to run into anyone else. I definitely didn't want to run into the Midoriya or any of the kids who gave me the gifts because I knew they were gonna feel bad and all this. And I'm actually waiting to like give them like a thank you gift. That way they know that I like appreciate everything they did, even though it all went up in flames. So I get there and I knock on the door, and so the door opens like by itself, and I walk in, and Frodo's sitting down in a high chair, and so I guess Kago was at the door, and he decided, he's in too big of a hurry to like greet me or say hi or anything, which is a good sign for me because I'm like, great, that means he doesn't have time to like try and like, pick on me or do anything. Plus, Frodo's here, so And as soon as I come in and Frodo's like, Mama, he's like, Mama. And I'm like, okay, well, Frodo can say some words. And I guess that's like better than like most kids his age can't really talk yet. He's not even a year old yet. He's barely like, he just turned 11 months. He's going to be 12 months soon. So we don't even know when we want to celebrate his birthday. We probably might do it at the end of the year or something. I don't know. His birthday might end up being every New Year's or something. But really, it's something for me and Kegel to talk about because we haven't actually talked about his birthday, what we're going to do for it yet. So he's getting ready to go. Obviously, he's like really busy. He's like, oh my God, I'm late. And I hear him walk up to the other room. And Frodo's waiting for, I guess, waiting for his food. And he's like, I haven't given Frodo his meal yet. Everything's in the refrigerator. It's already made, just like preheated and everything. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, so while he leaves out of the room, he goes into the other room to get dressed. And I go, hi, I learned how to sign for you. I learned how to sign for you. You. Wait. And so Frodo looks at me and he's like, and this means mommy. And I'm like, yeah, I learned how to sign for you. We're going to have so much fun together. And Frodo can understand me. It's just that he can't speak and respond that way. So I tried to learn as much as I could, as much sign as I could. That way I can like understand what he's trying to say to me. So daddy's in the other room, getting ready and everything. So I go over and I open the refrigerator and I'm like, what are we gonna have for, what are you gonna have for breakfast today? And Frodo gets like this wide-eyed looks and he looks at me and I'm like, Frodo, you've been kind of bad. You know why? I think it's because you're eating all this bad food. Let's get you some vegetables. I think it's time for vegetable tasting. And I'm like, and then so I'm getting like the vegetables and stuff out of the freezer. And so Kegel's not even paying me any attention. He's grabbing his stuff, getting ready to leave. And as he's leaving out, Frodo goes, ah, like he makes like a noise, like I guess he was trying to say hey to him. And so he looks back, he's like, bye, love you, Frodo. And he's leaving out, and Frodo is like, Daddy, I think this is the sign for Daddy, or this is the sign for Daddy, and then he does this, which means Daddy, like Daddy help. But he was gone, and I was like, there is no help. I was like, no one can help you now, because I am here. I'm here. And so so I take the vegetables and I'm like thawing them out and everything. And Frodo's, sitting in his chair. And I'm like, Frodo, are you ready to eat? And Frodo is like, I'm like, Frodo. So he lifts up his hand, he does this. He's like me, like me. And then he said he does this, which means like scared. So he's telling me he's scared basically. And I said, you should be scared. And so like I get the vegetables and I'm just rinsing everything off. I know, oh poor Frodo, poor little guy. So like let's try the broccoli first, which I know he hates broccoli, but I'm like, you're gonna take a few bites, okay? I want you to eat this for me. And so like I give him it to eat, and he's like, he does like this. He drops it down, and then he does his hand like this, and it's like I don't want, which is like this means like I don't want or whatever. And I said, oh, you don't want this? Well, and I was like, well, what do you want then? And he's reaching over, obviously it's too far away. I'm just watching him reach, and I'm just like, you'll never be able to reach it. I said, you're gonna eat what I feed you today. And he's like, he kind of like throws this little tantrum. He's like, and I'm like, all right, so what are we gonna give you? I go, Frodo, what do you like to eat? And I know what Frodo wants to eat. I just, he burned down my house. I'm sorry. And he seems to be, on a level that I can kind of understand him in a way. And so, like, I want to see if I can have a basic conversation with Frodo. So I go, Frodo, you scared. I said, you almost hurt mommy when you did that. And, and I don't know the sign for you almost hurt mommy. So I was like, you almost hurt mommy when you did that. Okay. And I'm just doing random hand stuff. And I'm just like, because I did not learn I didn't learn all the sign, okay? I didn't learn everything I tried. It's not easy when you first learn stuff. Like, and I only had a couple days to learn in between like work and stuff. So do plus I do other stuff as well. And it'll just anyway, but I learned like a bunch of things. And so I got him to eat like some of his vegetables, but he wouldn't really eat anymore. He kind of refused at some point. So then I put my hand like over his mouth, and he started coughing, and then he just like threw all of it up. So he had to like vomit baby like puke all everywhere, and I said, oh, this little baby puke, let me clean this up. cleaned up and everything. I was like, should we try again? And he just started crying. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, what should we do next? I go, maybe. And so I'm heading back to the refrigerator. And someone like rings the doorbell. And I'm like, someone's ringing the doorbell. Who could it be at this time? Who could it possibly be? And I'm thinking it's got to be Toshinori because maybe he heard I was here. Maybe he can't. He's coming to the door to come. I don't know, like to come talk to me or whatever. Or it could be that doctor guy. Maybe he just has more information for me about Frodo that I didn't know or something. I'm walking to the door, and as I get there, I'm getting closer to the door, and I'm like, it's neither of these guys. Surprise, surprise! It happens to be. You guys are never gonna guess who's at the door. You'll never guess. Try guessing. Just try it. All right. It's midnight. So Midnight walks in the door. She's like, "Hi, Frodo." "Oh, hi, Cotton Candy doll." I'm like, "Hello." I'm like, "Come on in." She goes, "You don't look very happy to see me." I'm like, "No, I'm just surprised. That's all." She goes, "Yeah, once in a while I come over and I check on Frodo, and I just today was my day to come see him." And I'm like, "Okay." Guys, so her and Frodo are like signing back and forth to each other, and I'm just watching their hand movements and everything. And I just can't believe it. And I'm just like kind of stuck because I'm like, what do I need to do? I don't know. And so I go, well, I was just about to give Frodo his meal. And she's like, oh, you were. He told me that you were giving him vegetables. And I'm like, yeah, he needs to eat some vegetables in order to be healthy. Because, we want Frodo to be healthy. All of us do. And she's like, he said he didn't like that. And he doesn't like it. And I'm like, well, So I'm like, well, I guess I'll get his bed ready because, he's going to get ready, to lay down. And she goes, yeah, you're right. So I go to his room and getting all his stuff together. And I'm like, how long has she been coming over to see Frodo? Do they have a relationship? Like, and I know he's just a baby, guys. I mean, like, do they have is it like a godmommy type of relationship? Because, hey, I mean, I can use all the extra help I can get with Frodo. I mean, I don't care. If she's a godmother, I'm all for it. I'm not hating anything. I'm not jealous. Nothing. I'm just shocked to see her. But then, Frodo did like her before. So it's like if she's in his life, that's better. The more people in his life, the better. The more good people in his life, the better too. So I'm not against it. Not even like a little bit. So she's in there. I hear her like feeding him and everything. And I'm like, well, let me take him out because he's full. She goes, it's okay, I can burp him. And she takes him out. And she's like, and Frodo is like smiling. He's like, has his hand in her hair and stuff. And I'm like, you little, ladies, you're a little ladies guy, aren't you? And I can tell I'm embarrassing him a little bit. And I'm like, Frodo, it's almost time for bed, but, Daddy said you need to go poopy first. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, well, shoot. He's not old enough to be potty trained, so what exactly does he do? I don't want to sit him down because I'm pretty sure it's going to be hard to go if you're just sitting down. So, like, I guess does he lay him on his stomach? Does he lay him on his back? Like, what does he do? And I almost want to call his godfather, but I'm like, I'm thinking, I'm his mommy and I don't even know. So, there's the weird noises. So then Midnight gets ready to put him back in the chair. I'm like, wait. I'm like, so when we change him, and she's like, oh yeah, he doesn't ever go when I'm here. And I'm like, what? And she's like, he doesn't ever go number 2 or number 1. I'm like, why? She's like, I don't know. I try asking him and I get no response. And I go, let me ask him. So I take Frodo in the other room and I sit him down and he's sitting up like this. And I go, Frodo, I go, Frodo, Frodo, oh, am I even spelling his name right? Frodo. I don't even know if I'm spelling that right, guys. I go, Frodo, you have to go to the, do you have to go to the bathroom? Do you need to, I said, you need to poop? Like, you think this is poop? Wait, this or this is poop? Like, you need to poop? And he said he doesn't want to. He said it's bad, or it's pooping is bad. And I said, why is it? I said, why is it bad? And I guess he thinks, I don't know what he was saying, but I guess he was, from what I can tell, it's kind of like, I guess he thinks people will like get sick or something. But also, I think it's really him being embarrassed because he doesn't want to go in front of midnight. Um, she might be a crush, but she might also be like a godmother potential. So I mean, hey, I mean, godmother potential. And she wasn't dressed in her normal wear. She was just dressed in regular, something like what I would wear, like kind of a lumberjack shirt, but it was yellow and red and green. It had like little stripes inside of it. It was weird. It kind of seems like something you would find in like a store, like a fashion store. But at the same time, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that here. The clothes and stuff is just so different. The material and the texture is much like tougher. It's not really thin. Even when I go in my regular clothes and I like touch them, they feel different. It like this texture is not the same. Oh, by the way, I've never gone like this either. Do you know what do you know what Toshinori would do to me if I ever came there dressed like this? Yeah, I'm not trying to torture her. I wouldn't even have an outfit anymore. It'd be gone. Maybe I'm pretty sure it would be ripped to shreds. You know. So I'm like, so basically, he thinks that his poop is bad, and the fact that he knows that is just too much. Like, how in the world were you able to register that, Frodo? Like, it's like far out. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna give you back to midnight now. Now that I know it's wrong, I'm just gonna tell her. And so, like, I pick him up and I get ready to hand her to midnight, and he's like reaching for me, and I'm like, no, go with her. And he's like, he does this. He says, I want mommy, and this is the sign for mommy. And I'm like, and she's like, oh, he wants you. And so, like, I'm holding him and stuff, and he's like, I'm looking at him, and he looks like he's having a hard time because I guess he's like holding everything in until she like leaves or something. And I'm like, well, she isn't gonna leave, so she has to be here to like change you and everything too. So, if you go, you go. Just go. No one's gonna get sick. I told him, it's not bad. But I don't know how much of that he actually believes because we have been wearing masks around him since he was little. So to me, I feel like this should be normal for him. He should think that this is how babies. The thing is, Frodo has not been around any other babies. Okay, he's been around no other children, no other toddlers, no nothing. Okay, he's not. He's walking, but I mean, he hasn't been in a room with another child. So there is no way you can know we don't wear a mask when we change people. You have to. I thought he would just think that. The fact that you know that and that you're beyond the scope of that is really just kind of fascinating to me. I'm just like, and I'm actually kind of like happy I can actually have a conversation with Frodo once I learn how to once I learn more sign language. I really don't know anything. I learned like a little, like a tiny bit, like a fraction. Anyway, I said, well, I guess we'll just lay him down and go to sleep, and he'll just go. Maybe he'll wake up, and midnight's like I was really hoping he would go because I don't want him to have a diaper rash when he wakes up. If he has a diaper rash, that's going to be really bad. And I said, I think he'll be fine. Don't ever say a mother doesn't protect her baby. I was protecting him, from embarrassment, I guess. Not that he has anything to be embarrassed about. He's a baby. So the fact that he's already thinking that way. How old is Frodo really? He's like a little man, The fact that he's like a little man, like seriously. But he's not talking yet. So whatever it is he can't speak. So he might have that knowledge and that, you know, he might understand a lot more than a regular baby does at the age he is. But he has no way to change his body and make it do what he wants. which is just to me, that's just I want to treat him like a regular, like dumb baby, because babies are not supposed to be that smart. I'm sorry. You're supposed to know the regular signs. I think they only teach you like once 5 signs. He was trying. He was saying like more and stuff, and that's a regular like toddler or whatever infant sign. I don't know how old the babies are when they first start teaching them that, but I just looked that up and I'm like, wow. So it's really not that uncommon that he knows a little bit of sign. So there's that. So then he was laying down, and then midnight was like, well, since he's sleeping, I'm not gonna stick around. I'm just gonna leave. I was like, you aren't gonna. She's like, I was really just stopping by to say hi, because I stop by and say hi to him like every day. And I was like, I'm just curious, what made you want to stop by and see Frodo like every day? And she said that day she was at the hospital with him, and she thought we would lose him. She could not imagine herself ever like just forgetting about him or forgetting to check up on him. Seeing him every day just reminded her that he's okay, and I'm just like, I'm glad you cared so much for him, to like do that. Like I've never heard of that before. So I guess her heart really is like she has like a golden heart. I mean, he doesn't seem and there's no malice or anything, and I think I trust her around Frodo, so I could trust her to be there when I'm not. Maybe to have like another female figure instead of all these guys walking around him. Frodo, you know. So yeah, he was sleeping and everything, and then she left. So then I decided I'm gonna just hang out. I was waiting for Frodo to come tattling out of his room because normally he'd do that, and he didn't. So like an hour had gone by. I'm sitting on the couch. Then I walk over to the counter because remember he has like a bar countertop at his house. His house is huge. So like I go in the refrigerator. I'm like, I'm looking through all his stuff. I'm like weird drinks, weird fruit drinks. It's like pomegranate orange. I see like grapefruit apple and like just weird combinations like cantaloupe ice was like some kind of drink. The only normal thing that he had in his refrigerator, yeah, in Kegel's refrigerator, the only normal thing, Hawks, the only thing normal in his refrigerator was coconut water. And that's not even something people have in their refrigerator unless they eat or drink healthier than like normal people do. Yeah. So I'm like, yep, not drinking or eating or drinking anything. I'm just gonna just hang out here. So I go back to the couch. I lay down on the couch, and the door to Frodo's room cracks open a little bit. So I go to his room, and he's standing at the door looking up at me. And I'm like, did you go poop? I'm like, did you go? So I pick him up and I'm like, yeah, I think you went. So let's go get you changed. I go and I change him and everything. And I said, and I talk to him the whole time. And I'm like, Frodo, poop is not bad. It's good because you get rid of it and you remove it from your body. So like the little macs we have, they go over our mouth and nose. And so like it has air pockets on the side of it. And so like the air pockets go in. And so I have about 5 minutes to change them before the air runs out. Then you're breathing your own air for like a minute. But I mean, it's not really a rush job. It's not something you do quickly. I like take my time and change him and everything and talk to him and get him all powdered up. Do regular baby stuff. And he laid down after that and he started falling asleep. So I'm like, okay, he's falling asleep. I slowly close the door and I go back. So I'm sitting on the couch. I'm watching something weird, guys. Because there's always something weird on TV, even at his house. It was the news, but it was talking about like villains in the city and how they were coming to you one day and all this stuff. And there's more heroes coming out of the waking. Every day you wake up with a new quirk. This new hero. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm going to turn away from this hero stuff because I don't want the hero life to drip into my life because it did happen. And I ended up having to save someone whom I really didn't even feel like I saved. They kept calling me their hero. Then it completely vanished off the face of the planet. It's a whole different story. But I'm sitting there, then I start dozing off. And I wake up and I wake up and I'm being like held, like I'm being like sandwiched. Like is it sandwich or is it shoot, what is it called? I don't know. Not sandwich, but it's called being something. I'm being like held some kind of way. And I'm like, I knew it was Toshinori because he was just so huge. How can you not notice? And he was like, I knew you were here. And I'm like, how did you know? He goes, I knew. I'm like, okay, well, I said, where is Diego? And he's like, he's still at work. He's gonna be working kind of late, but I thought I would come here and just cuddle with you for a minute. Then I have to leave. I said, where are you going? And he's like, I'll be back. But I laid with him for a minute, and then he got up and he left. And then I waited for Frodo to wake up for like 6 hours. He never woke up. He just stayed asleep the whole time. And then finally, Kago came home. Now, this was like later in the day. So he got home around like, I got there around like 12. He came around like 6 o'clock. It's almost 6:30. In between 6 and 6:30, it was like 6 in the mid-ish. And so like he comes home, he's like, hey, and he's like, Frodo. I'm like, how would you call it? He's like, Frodo's awake. I'm like, what? He's like, he's awake. He plays around and Diddy Dallows in there, and I opened the door. Sure enough, he was like awake. He's playing around and stuff in his crib, and he's like jumping up and down. There's like a whatever that bill thingy is that's spinning around. He's like jumping up, trying to like grab the little things that are spinning around on there. And like I'm watching him, and then he's like, and then Kago comes over to me, and he's like, we're like making out and stuff, and then Frodo looks over at him, and he's like, frowns a little bit, and he's like, I guess he's like, I want mommy, and so like I came over there, I'm like, you want mommy, and I'm like, and he signs back to him, Daddy, he signs back, Daddy wants mommy. I'm not gonna do all the signs because it's just too much. I have not learned enough yet to sit there and imitate what they were doing, but it was crazy. It was like they were having an argument and sign. And I said, okay, it's time for me to leave. I said, Frodo, come here. And I picked him up and I gave him kisses on his cheeks. So cute. And, Keiko grabs me and like makes out with me. Like, I'm like, you're doing too much in front of him. He goes, well, he doesn't know. I'm like, are you sure he doesn't know? Because he seems to know a whole lot to me. Like, he knows a lot. So yeah, I was pretty shocked and surprised by how much he knew. But I literally, like, I walked out the front door. And I looked around from there and then I shifted back. But like, before coming back here, I'm like, I need to make sure that when I leave, it looks like I'm leaving. Because Frodo knows way too much. I don't want Frodo to know I'm not from the world they're from. I can't have him knowing that. He's just not, he's just too little to like understand. There was no way for me to explain that to him. Endeavor don't even understand it. He's like, he has no idea what the heck I'm talking about. I try to explain it. It's like useless, okay? And I think when I travel back there, I'm not gonna. So now that me and Frodo have things hashed, even though it got interrupted with midnight showing up, I think that like when I go back there for sure, I have to plan my getting back at Toshinori and getting back at Kago. First off, Toshinori, just because I feel like I haven't tortured him in a while, and I feel like it's time. I think I really need to get back at him. And what better way to do that than to like just spank him? I feel like he needs one. I'm thinking what kind of build I should use. I definitely don't want to use anything I would have used on myself because he's probably gonna turn that back around on me. I'm pretty sure. Now I have to deal with it like at some point. Yes, I do plan on seeing Frodo again, but I have to go back to see Toshinori too and Kegel since they're both a part of my life. So I need to throw them into the picture. And I could have taken him if I wanted to. Like I could have like let him. I could have let Kale like have his way with me. I could have not in front of Frodo, but I mean like later. I could have stuck around if I wanted, but I just wanted to leave. I was just like I came there. My trip there specifically was just to like communicate with Frodo, just to like chat. I don't chat. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Chat maybe with him. I don't know if that's correct or not. Don't learn sign language from me because I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty loud, whatever that is. Anyway, I'm not gonna make any promises this time because I'm not gonna say I'm coming back doing another video like sooner and then do one later. I wanted to learn more sign. I'm gonna start learning more for Frodo's sake because I don't know when he's gonna be able to talk. If he can do all these other things, he should be able to talk by now too. So I don't know if he's gonna end up being like mute. I don't think so because he says "mama." There's no way. I haven't heard him here. I have not heard him say "daddy" yet. I have not heard him say "dada" or "daddy." He signed it. He said "daddy," but like I don't think he's ever said it. So yeah, he said my name at least. I want to hear him say something else. Like I kind of want to I want to hear him speak. It was interesting having that little conversation though. He said that I scared him. Yeah, you should be scared, but I didn't really get to finish torturing him the way I wanted, because. And I jumped in. There's always next time, but the taste testing is really not. It's really not for me to torture Frodo. It's really there for me to have him try new things. I wanted to see if he actually liked broccoli now. My next project was going to be like pineapples. I was going to see if he liked those. I was going to see if he liked papaya. You know, some of those weird drinks he got in there. I was going to try some of those. Yeah, mainly to be an asshole, but also to try to see if he likes it. I definitely want him to like sweet potatoes and like yams and like candy yams and stuff because I love that. Oh, that's something I did not get for Christmas. I have to make that. I have to make that's gonna be like my thing for sure. Like I don't know how many of you like with sweet potatoes with like rice or candy yams and rice, as you guys would call it, candy yams. Yeah, I freaking missed that. I did not have that for Christmas, guys. I didn't have that. I hope everyone had a good New Year's. I hope I said that in my last video too. Like I don't remember if I actually like said that or not. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know how long this video was. I think I explained everything I did in there. Um, I got to see Toshinori. I got to see. Yeah, I didn't get to see Endeavor or the doctor guy. I really want to talk to that doctor again to see what we can do about Frodo. Like I don't know. If you guys like this video, don't forget to give this video a like. If you hated it, you know what to do. Also, do not forget to ring that bell. That way you're notified every time another video like this one comes out. Ding! And I guess I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be like, it probably won't be this weekend. It'll probably be next week or something. I'm not really sure what day. I know that I want to go back there very soon, probably tomorrow, to go see Toshinori first. I'm gonna torture him first. Yeah, I'm gonna tie him up and I'm gonna spank him. I'm gonna make him red, make his ass like red or something. That's gonna be fun torturing him. And then maybe I'll do both of them at the same time. No, I don't want to do it at the same time. Definitely separate. So they don't have to suffer together. So they can have fear. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a great night. Bye.